And I'm going to be really honest about that on doorsteps. I'm not going to spend my time point scoring or these are saying this and this. I'll be saying, no, I'm hearing you. We're going to really change things and put the country on a different path.
But how? Like, are you actually going to say what you would do? Like, first of all, this is only like the second hurdle. The first hurdle was the Labour NEC even allowing him to stand as a Labour candidate in this by-election. The second hurdle is whether he even gets voted in. It would be absolutely hilarious if he went through all of this just for the Greens or the Reform Party to take the seat.
I'm as real as a real can get. What you see?
Buongiorno Freaks and Geeks, welcome back to the channel. So it's safe to say Sir Keir Rodney Starmer's goose is cooked. He is just a placeholder while the Labour Party figures out who will take them forward from, I guess, the end of 2026 into the next general election. And the front runner for that is the current mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham. Now, I've said in previous videos that Andy Burnham would have to knock off or bribe a Labour MP in a safe seat. It would seem he didn't take any of my advice and decided to select one in a rather surging Reform voter base. So in case you weren't aware, a by-election has been triggered in the constituency of Makerfield. In taking a look at the results at the general election in 2024, the majority is only 5,399 votes, with a turnout of 52.5%. And I'm going to imagine it's going to be much worse now, considering how bad of a job Sir Keir Rodney Starmer has done. So as you can see, the Greens are on 1,776 votes. And I imagine the Green Party are going to swallow up a lot of the progressive vote in the area. And it's so funny that the Green Party have come out and said, yeah, we're standing. We're going to contest this, whether you like it or not. And Reform will be fielding the same candidate from that previous election, this Robert Geezer. Conservatives, a non-factor, along with the Liberal Democrats and English Democrats. Jesus, I don't think they got the deposit back with 368 votes. Stupid losers. So the by-election is set for some point in June, and Andy Burnham is already on the campaign trail, and Channel 4 caught up with him. So we're going to get into that video right now. But before we do, please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me down below who would be the candidates up against Andy Burnham in a potential future Labour leadership contest.
How's it been going? Busy few days?
Yes, but important moment. I think it's a big moment in British politics.
Is it just me, or does he seem extremely nervous for a guy who's already been in government, also in the shadow cabinet, and is also the current Labour mayor of Greater Manchester? He seems extremely nervous because he knows this is his one chance to become Prime Minister.
No, what I mean is I think we need to listen to what people are saying here. You know, the call from the gentleman there is you need to change Labour, get it back on the side of working class people and working class communities. And I hear exactly what he's saying. Life has become unaffordable.
And it's really interesting that people are saying this 2 years later, given the fact that all of those cabinet members that went out and became human shields for the disaster, which is Sir Keir Rodney Starmer, were saying, we got voted in on a wave of change, but they haven't changed anything. People are suffering right now even more than they did under the Tories with Rishi Sunak at the helm. So it kind of makes you see really crystal clear Labour was never voted in on a wave of enthusiasm, and it was more of a vote against the Tory party. And it's something that the Labour Party just has to admit. You have lost not only the working class, who some of them have fled to the Reform Party, but you have also lost the progressive and far left vote.
To people in places like this, Britain has been on a path for 40 years that started with deindustrialisation, deregulation, privatisation. It's left areas without good jobs and people unable to afford the basics. And I'm saying we need a different path completely.
So are you saying that you want to nationalise everything that was deregulated? Because that would be a step in the right direction and just bringing Britain back to the place it was 40 years ago, before Margaret Thatcher got her grubby little hands on this country and absolutely obliterated everything.
What is that path?
Put more things back under stronger public control: energy, housing, water, transport. I've done that with the buses in Greater Manchester.
Yeah, he's definitely saying all of the right things right now. Some might accuse him of being Corbyn-esque in his response, bringing back energy, gas, all of those big ticket items who were just sold off for pennies on the pound, just so that millionaires could get another yacht or another holiday home.
So I was the first to do it, you know. Margaret
It's
Thatcher
different though, isn't it, with the
deregulated
whole
them.
country.
No, but it's just, I'm just giving you an example.
sure.
You know, she deregulated them. I put them, and then they just work for the private shareholders and not for the paying public. I put them back under public control. We've got £2 fares. So you take that principle and you apply it to energy and you apply it to water.
Yeah, again, it's a sound policy, bringing the buses back under public ownership, but that is like the only thing a mayor of an area like Greater Manchester could do in regards to, you know, getting people on his side. I can't imagine you had many people putting up a fight against you bringing buses and just taking them back into public hands. Of course the bus companies had something to say, but the bus company lobby in this country is almost non-existent. They were fighting a losing battle. No court would have been on their side. So it's easy for you to say that at a regional level, but is that something you will definitely do nationally?
That's what I think we need to do. The country gave away its control of the basic things that people depend upon every day. And that was a big mistake in my view.
People say you're taking a big gamble here. Do you see it that way?
Well, it's not so much about me, really.
It is though, isn't it?
Well,
I get
no,
what you're saying, but it is
but
inevitably
it's
about you, isn't it?
what people are saying. All right. It's about what people are saying. I've been in politics 25 years, and I've heard this cry about we're fed up, politics isn't working, you know, Westminster isn't answering things. And I've seen this frustration build all of those years, and the gap between sort of politicians and the public is as wide as it's ever been.
Well, also rich people on the poor people. Forget about the gulf between politicians and the public. As long as politicians are doing things to the benefit of the majority of the public, I don't think the public cares how far removed you are from them. They just want policies that work for them and benefits them. What I'm trying to hear is whether you're going to close the gap between the rich and the poor. Like, for you to say I've been in politics 25 years and the most that you can show right now is that you took the buses back in Manchester back into public control, that's not enough at all.
I don't blame anyone who's left our party and voted for other parties. You know, I really don't. You know, our party needs to do better. And it's kind of where I'm coming from in this campaign. I'm going to be really honest about that on doorsteps. I'm not going to spend my time point scoring or these are saying this and this. I'll be saying, no, I'm hearing you. We're going to really change things and put the country on a different path.
But how? like, are you actually going to say what you would do? Like, first of all, this is only like the second hurdle. The first hurdle was the Labour NEC even allowing him to stand as a Labour candidate in this by-election. The second hurdle is whether he even gets voted in. It would be absolutely hilarious if he went through all of this just for the Greens or the Reform Party to take the seat. What would he do in that scenario? Would he have to go off and bump another Labour MP somewhere else in the country, buy a house within another constituency just so he's able to run in a future by-election? Like, there is so many banana skins between now and him actually becoming Prime Minister, which is definitely his ambition.
We've got to get back talking the language of reindustrialisation. Margaret Thatcher deindustrialised these communities in the past. That's been devastating over the 4 decades since. We've got to talk seriously about reindustrialising the Northwest, getting those good jobs, changing education so it's not all about the university route, but it's also about technical paths for kids to get into those good jobs. So this is the kind of change that I'm calling for, and I'm not going to spend any time sort of pointing out the flaws in everyone else's policies, point scoring. I'm going to talk about what I believe needs to change.
Were you very deliberate in choosing this seat because it is reform facing?
Again, like, so him choosing that seat has a lot to do with the fact that I guess he lives around there, but also like he has a massive risk of having pie all over his face, because let's face it, at the moment in a lot of areas Labour is fighting Reform for the same votes. So imagine in this area Labour and Reform eat each other, and that just opens the path for Greens to just sprint to the finish line and actually just take the seat. That would be an absolutely epic waste of political capital. It's brilliant. Let's see.
I was very deliberate in speaking to Josh, and both of us have kind of got the same diagnosis. I was the MP for Lee years ago, Josh the MP for Makerfield. We have both felt the frustration of facing a Westminster system that just does not have answers for these streets, these communities. And we both feel a big change moment is needed. And I wouldn't have just gone anywhere like a carpetbagger, any old constituency.
To be honest, you should have, because it would have been a much easier path for you to get back into the House of Commons. Instead, you've kind of just almost handicapped yourself for no reason other to just, I guess, bolster your ego even more. Like, it'll be a massive scalp if you manage to increase the majority against Reform in that area. I guess also you had a bit of dirt on this Josh guy, because why else would he just step away like that? It's just really weird. Like, you just got there and you're already giving up the job. You better win this, Andy Burnham, for Josh's sake. Otherwise, you both look very, very silly.
It matters to me that I have a connection. I live literally on the edge of this constituency. My kids went to school a few hundred yards down the road. I know people here. I know how they think, how they feel. I want to do whatever I can to make Labour a party that they can believe in again, a party that's solidly on the side of working class people.
But it just begs the question, why have you been so pally-pally with Sir Keir Starmer if you believe this current incarnation of the Labour Party does not meet the needs of working people whatsoever, especially in the north of the country? That is something we all have to reckon with and grapple with and decide whether what he is saying is truly genuine.
And if you do win the by-election, how soon will your declaration for the leadership come?
It's just not the issue. The issue is winning a by-election with what I'm saying. It's not about, necessarily the next thing. I know people will say that. I've made a whole career. Just let me answer your question though. I've made a whole career fighting for people in this part of the world. I fought for compensation for the miners when I was an MP for Lee. I fought for justice for the Hillsborough families. I fought Boris Johnson in the pandemic when he was treating people here in Makerfield as second-class citizens. That's what I've done. I've taken that fight to another level as mayor, and yes, I will carry on taking that fight to the highest level. And you know, that's the way that's where I've done my politics and done my journey. So it's first and foremost though about this place. Isn't it about time that people focus on here and say, right, why hasn't Westminster changed people's lives here? And then start to tell them what we're going to do to make that happen.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I love politics and elections and talking to people, and I am. Got me pie.
Got your pie?
Yeah.
Enjoy your pie, you'll need that sustenance.
I think I will.
Okay, so if he does get elected in this by-election, he's going to race to the House of Commons and say, okay, we need a leadership election for the Labour Party. Keir, get out now. Nobody likes you. And I thought it was pretty weird that he said he likes elections and voting. I don't know, like, whether I like my politicians saying they enjoy that aspect as opposed to, you know, changing people's lives for the better, especially as we are all going through a cost of living crisis, as we are all going through a stagnation in wage increases, as we are all going through not being able to buy houses. Well, the vast majority of us anyway, we can't buy our own houses. We're renting ourselves to death. We need a government that is willing to, you know, take the sting away from the richest people and tell them, you need to start paying your fair share, and no more of this tax avoidance or tax evasion. We're going to start pulling back all of the money you are stealing from this country. So another thing that's really interesting for me is that Andy Burnham, despite him having a regional accent, may not be as different from previous Blue Labour members, such as Tony Blair. It's really funny that a previous Keir Starmer ally was screaming on Channel 4 saying, do you think Andy Burnham is going to save you? There's no heroes. And I think what he was trying to say is that Andy Burnham's not actually different from us in terms of policies. He just has a regional accent which people find adorable, but he's not going to do that much different. And the reason I say this is because of this video that has resurfaced from 2015, so 11 years ago, where Andy Burnham was in his mid-40s. So I don't know whether his mind has changed significantly since then.
It's not just Mr Corbyn's crumpled shirt that puts him out in front in this leadership contest, it's the policies that he's espousing. I mean, it does seem that this contest is Jeremy Corbyn versus the other three, and that socialism is something of a dirty word within the Labour Party these days.
No, I don't think that's right at all. I mean, I agree with him on some things, such as more public control and public ownership of the railways, but I disagree with him on other things. For instance, saying that we should have widespread renationalisation of the utilities. I just don't think that is a priority for the country at the moment. I don't think it can be afforded. So we're going to have our agreement and disagreements about various things. But as I've been saying throughout this interview, Jeremy has brought something distinctive to the Labour leadership contest. It's right that we're having the debate that we're having. The party, though, does have to decide. It has to decide, you know, will what Jeremy's saying help us get back towards government? I don't think the public will think that will be where we're heading if we go for those kinds of policies, because I don't believe people feel that they are the right policies for where we are right now as a country. So, but we've got to have this debate. Let's have it.
So he believes in nationalising the trains, and he did something similar in Manchester by taking back the buses into public control, but he doesn't really think we should do it for the other utilities. So was he just mistaken back then 11 years ago, or is he lying to us right now, just as Sir Keir Starmer lied to the Labour membership in 2019? And I would be remiss if I didn't mention this tweet published by Zara Sultana on the 14th of May. So this is a quote tweet by Zara, which is basically just responding to Andy Burnham declaring that he had the permission of the NEC to stand in the Makerfield by-election. Quote, Andy Burnham voted for the Iraq War, an illegal war that killed over 1 million people. As Health Secretary, he helped drive NHS privatisation. He joined Labour Friends of Israel, opposed BDS as spiteful, praised Israel as a democracy, and called the Balfour Declaration British values in action. He is a Zionist. Stop pretending he's a radical alternative. He's more of the same. And that is an unfortunate rap sheet and would condemn anyone from trying to profess that they were progressive or left of Margaret Thatcher. So is this the true Andy Burnham? Well, it was at one point. Or is the Andy Burnham that we are seeing right now, do you think he would keep to his promises? Do you think he will bring real change to the people of this country if he was to become Prime Minister? Do you think he is a departure from the dreadful record which has been Sir Keir Rodney Starmer, who, for my money, is probably the worst Prime Minister we have seen in this country for 50 years maybe? What do you think? Tell me down below. I would love to read it. But yeah, that's the video. I'm just looking forward to the day where Keir Starmer says, okay, here's the timetable. I'm leaving in 6 weeks. Of course, Andy Burnham still has to win a by-election. It would be so epic if he doesn't. I would love to see his next move if he doesn't actually win that by-election. And what would Labour do? Do we just stick with a Prime Minister who nobody likes? Probably not even his own family likes him. The only people that seem to like him is sitting within his cabinet. And even that's getting smaller by the day. So yeah, let's just stay tuned, shall we? If you enjoy audiobooks, I voice one on spotting red flags in relationships. Link in the description below. If you stayed with me up to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. And remember, once we understand politics, we will make better choices. Don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Ciao.